You know that when you're calm, you can be reasonable and rational. And you can make better decisions when you're calm. You know that. Everyone knows that. I don't need to tell you that. So, when you're emotional, when you're angry, when you're excited, when you have any emotion whatsoever, a little bit of excitement, or, you see, any emotion at all washes away reason and separates you from your being able to take a step back and observe and get the big picture and see what's really going on. So what am I talking about here? I'm talking about emotion and why you must learn not to be emotional. But you see you are, and you don't even realize it. See, the other thing is the more emotional you are, the more you don't realize it. See, and you don't realize the mistakes that you're making. How many of you have liked some guy or some person and you thought he was really a nice guy, and then later you found out the truth? It was like a wake-up call, wasn't it? The morning after the night before, all of a sudden you said, oh my God, you found out, see, you found out the truth. You see how important the truth is? But when you were emotional, when you were all caught up with him and in love and all romantic, see, you wanted to see him in a good light. That was your agenda. See, then you had an agenda. Okay? You had an agenda. You wanted to see him in a good light. You desperately wanted to see him in a good light. And it may have taken a lot for you to finally wake up. And then you realize all along the way, people tried to warn you. Your friend said, that guy's no good. Okay, he's married, or something, see? Or he's taking drugs. But you didn't want to believe it. Or when you finally heard it, then you made excuses and said, well, he can't help himself, and he's basically a good guy, and see, if we're together, then he'll stop doing it, and so on. You know all of that, don't you? When you see other people getting involved with the wrong thing, the wrong cause, the wrong person, you see it, and maybe you tried to warn them. But when it happens to you, you don't see it. Why? Because of the emotions. So I think I've made my case. In every area of life, it's important to be able to separate from emotions and to stand back, get the big picture, observe, be objective. It's very important. Okay? Well, so I've made the case, haven't I? So how do you do that? Well, fortunately, you can do it. Now, the other thing that hinders you is, and then I was going to say the meditation that I have is helpful. Helps you to get centered. Helps you to take a mental step back. Helps you to take a mental step back and be calmly in the present and not lost in thought. See, the thoughts, most people walk around lost between their two ears most of the time. Why are we lost between our two ears? Well, because when emotions rise, when you become emotional, when someone makes you emotional, see, that's the other thing. They know how to do that. They know how to upset you or to get to you, to make you angry. So a lot of the things that happen are by design. Okay? A lot of the things that happen are designed to upset you. See? So things you read in the paper, things you see on television, news that you read, they're designed to upset you. See? So that you become emotional. Then you won't see clearly, and then you'll likely to accept whatever they tell you. So the other thing is that when we are emotional, when we've been made emotional, it started when you were a little kid. You were emotionalized when you were a little kid. See, misguided parents. See, everywhere you go, people say, "Oh, emotions make the world go round." No, they don't. Okay. So the other thing then is that when you make mistakes, when you're emotional and you buy the wrong thing or do the wrong thing or hang around with the wrong guy or whatever you do, that's wrong. Take drugs or whatever you do. Spend too much money. Get involved with the wrong people. Then you don't want to see that you made the mistake. Your ego doesn't want to admit it. So you make excuses, rationale, and you escape into thinking. Rationale and excuses arise to save your ego from having to see the truth about its mistake. So the other important thing is to always be willing to admit the truth, even if it's a little bit painful. Whatever it is, you made a mistake. Admit it. Okay, I made a mistake. You were angry. I'm sorry about the anger. Maybe you were right about what you said. Okay, well, I was right about what I said, but I'm sorry about the anger. Okay? I was out of turn. I shouldn't have said what I said. I'm sorry. I misjudged the situation. I spoke up too quickly. Should have waited. See? It's very important. Just admit, if not to the other person, then to yourself. Admit it to yourself. And then get to meditation. The meditation is very simple. See, I made it so simple you can learn it in a minute. The meditation helps you to become to calm down and to stand back and to get the big picture, where you're in the present moment. They call it what? The eternal now. See, remember the past is already gone. See, all you have is the present. But instead you're lost between your two ears, dreaming about the future or reliving the past or worrying about something. So just to be in the present. So how do you do that? Well, first of all, you become aware of your hands. As I'm sitting here right now, I'm becoming aware of my hands. I just notice my hands. And as I gently, very gently, no effort, I just gently notice my hands. Even as I'm speaking now, I'm noticing my hands. My hands begin to tingle a little bit. You could say they almost feel a little bit warm. Or at least a little bit tingly. A little bit tingly. So I notice my hands. I'm aware of my hands. Okay? And then as you get in the habit of doing that, you can begin to feel the life flow into your hand. You can feel the blood flow into your hands and life and warmth. Okay? But you start doing that several times a day. Just remember to be aware of your hands and then quietly notice your hands. When you're sitting in a chair like I am now, or even if you're out for a walk, become aware of your hands as you're walking. Doing anything. Listening to music or looking at television, you can all of a sudden remember to be aware of your hands. So that brings you back to the present. As I'm sitting here, aware of my hands, I'm aware of the sunshine outside and little noises, cars going by, sometimes a bird singing. See? I'm in the present. I'm not lost in my thinking. Now, with this state of consciousness now, it's actually a higher state of consciousness. I'm not lost in fantasy. I'm not lost in emotions, sitting calmly. Were my child to come up to me right now and ask a question, I would be there. See, little kids always say that they want their parent to be there for them. I would be there, and I would be able to hear the question and answer it properly. But if I'm lost in, if I'm angry, if I'm upset, if I'm lost in texting or lost in music or lost in a conversation on the phone, you see what I mean? That I'm not totally there. I'm lost between my two ears. Then when my child comes up to ask a question, I'm not there. I may not even hear the question. Or I brush them off, or I said, not now, I'm busy, see? See? So I'm in the present. So, and then the other factor, so that's very simple. You just be aware of your hands. And then the other thing you can do, you can 2 or 3, maybe 3 times a day, or as often as you can. But let's say first thing in the morning, and then at noon, and then in the evening. Just to sit quietly and close your eyes and become aware of your hands. And as you're aware of your hands, see, then you also close your eyes and look at the inside of your eyelids. See how simple this is? So you're sitting quietly, you're aware of your hands, you're a little bit tingly, you're in the moment, and you also have closed your eyes. And you're looking at the inside of your eyelids. And what do you see? Well, you see little sparkles of light, little patterns of light, pixels of light, delicate glow of light. It's what you see. It's like You're looking at a screen. When you look at the inside of your eyelids, you're looking at a screen that's not completely dark. There's little bits of light on it. So that's all you have to do. You do that for a minute or 2 or 3. And then when you open your eyes, you know what? You're going to feel refreshed. And you're in the moment. And you're there. See? And for that period of time, you're actually not carried away by thoughts and worries and fears and doubts and things that aren't true. Ideas, notions, worries, things from the past. It's very simple. Okay? And when you're in this aware state, let's say I'm sitting here with aware of my hands as I am now, and I close my eyes, and I look at the inside of my eyelids. Okay, maybe a thought will arise about what I'm going to do or where I'm going to go or something. The thought arises and I see it. But this time I observe the thought. I'm still in the present. Instead of floating away with it, see? Instead of falling into it and becoming involved with it and drifting away with it. See, that's how you lose yourself. That's how you lose yourself and your powers. So you do have powers. See? Human beings have power. But your power is when you are in this aware state. So why don't you practice it? You can watch this video again. I've already described it. Or you can get my free little meditation at my website. And you're on your way to regaining control of your life, to calming down, to seeing things as they really are, to making better decisions and fewer wrong decisions, and saying the right thing instead of the wrong thing, and knowing timing, and all these beautiful things will come to you from being aware.